Right. And Formula One has just kicked off, and that's spring to me.
Right.
So I get real excited. You know, it's a whole new year in Formula One where anything can happen. And they're actually doing this really cool. So they had the first race. My boy Sebastian Vettel and the Ferrari team didn't fare so well.
Oh, no?
Which is weird because in testing, they looked unbeatable. They had the fastest car by a mile.
What
also,
happened?
like the most reliable.
What happened?
They're chalking it up to the first race being in Australia, and that's what's called a temporary circuit because it's actually in a park.
Okay.
So it's like a street circuit.
Right.
So every other time of the year, it's like a walking, biking path. You can drive your car through the park.
Okay.
It's not a designated racetrack, so the surface is a lot different.
Okay.
And the corners are a lot different.
All right.
So they're saying, well, because it's a street circuit, the car really wasn't set up properly. It's still kind of weird because actually...
That's kind of a lame excuse, I think.
Well, generally, Ferrari does really well. The last couple of years, the last 2 years in a row, Vettel has won the opener. But in both those years, he didn't fare so well for the rest of the season, and the fact that he didn't bring home the championship.
Right.
So who knows?
Yeah, still was one of the top racers, but didn't bring that.
Yeah. Now, one new thing which you might get a kick out of.
All right.
Now, you're a very casual. You know about Formula One.
I'd say I know more than the average person, but I wouldn't call myself like a big fan.
No, for sure. But I think you might like.
I often
cool
ask
idea.
you like, "Hey, what's going on in Formula One?"
Yeah.
Like, I keep up through you.
Well, here's the big one.
Okay.
So they've added a new. So Formula One got taken over by a different person. The guy's name is Chase something or other. He's an American dude. Though.
Did he get involved with like Nazi orgies and stuff like the other guy?
No.
Oh.
That we know of.
Okay.
Now that guy had been in Formula One for years before he found that out. So I'm sure this guy.
I love
that
too that they found that out. He just like, yeah, I did that. And they're like, okay,
that's a fetish.
Moved on, and they just
neat.
It wasn't like a controversy.
Hey, to each their own, right? Europe's got a whole different thing
I like
going
that.
on.
I dug that. Other than it was weird that he was wearing like it was like a Nazi kind of
outfit
role playing thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, hey,
that was weird.
The Nazis did have lovely uniforms, though.
They did, as Lemmy Kilmeister.
Yeah, people collect that stuff because it was. I mean, it's German. It's beautifully crafted.
Yeah.
Anyways, in Formula One this year, they've added this new kind of rule/point system.
Okay.
So, the person at the end of the race with the fastest lap gets 1 point.
That's cool.
Yep. Unless you finish outside the top 10.
Okay, gotcha.
So you have to finish in the top 10 and get the fastest lap. And you get an extra point.
So what's the point difference between first and second place?
There's, I believe it's 7 points. First is 25 points.
Yeah.
Second is 18.
Okay.
And now, the first race, Valtteri Bottas, who won with Mercedes.
What's that guy's name?
Valtteri Bottas.
That's sweet. Where's he from? Poland?
Finland.
Oh, Finland. Okay.
Finland. So he won the race, and he collected fastest lap. So he got 26 points.
Oh, cool.
Which is unheard of, because they've never given away that many points
Wow,
before.
so he's a record holder now.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat, because if you finish outside of the top 10,
yeah,
let's say
you're
having
get some points for your team or whatever.
Well, no, because you wouldn't get that fastest lap extra point.
Right.
But you could steal it from one of the other guys, because you could still get the fastest lap, which would prevent someone else getting it. So that's kind of neat. So we'll see how the season shakes out.
That's cool. I like that.
People are like, oh, it's kind of dumb. I'm like, I don't think so. I've been a very intense Formula One fan.
Because also now so at the end of the race, instead of being like, oh, so and so got the fastest lap, yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Which they kind of say, they always mention, but they don't go into.
It's neat to have.
Yeah.
It was always neat to have.
Yeah.
But it didn't hold any weight.
Yeah, now it does. That's
now
cool.
It does. That's the whole point. Like you can win or lose a whole championship by 1 point.
Yeah, that's
cool. Exciting for me. That's kind of what's going on in my life.
That's cool. That's cool. I watched the first episode of that Formula One Netflix show.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I think you watched something different.
No, I didn't. I watched the new Netflix one. Like
Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
I've watched about 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any 30-minute qualifying explanation.
First of all, when you sent me that text, that's not at all what I said.
It is what you said.
Not 30 minutes.
Well, no. I think you were exaggerating.
No,
but
there is I'll give it 45 seconds to a minute explanation on qualifying.
Yeah.
Which, okay, it's fine. But to me, the show appeals to people who have no idea about Formula One.
Yes.
Or people, passionate fans like yourself, go behind the scenes a bit, right?
That's what I'm getting.
Exactly.
I'm getting a lot out of it.
So I'm a guy who knows enough about Formula One that I don't need the explanation of things.
Right.
But I also don't care that much about...
to see what's going on. That's
so it's just like,
point.
I'm just kind of like, oh, that's good. But it seems like also, the thing about Formula One that people love is how, like, technical...
For sure.
It is.
Yep.
And with that, I find often it becomes kind of sterile sometimes. Like
I can see
too scientific sometimes.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So it's a little sterile. Mm-hmm. And I think that show is that way. Right. Where I don't get that that kind of behind the scenes. I don't know even what I want out of it, but like it just seems sterile.
Okay,
that's all.
Like I said, I'm about 4 episodes in, and I'm a rabid F1 fan.
Yeah, you are.
I'm full blown. The entire episode.
Because you get like extra like in the car footage and stuff like
behind.
that.
I know who they're talking to as well. When they talk to Gunther Steiner from Haas, I know that guy. I've seen him at tons of races, but I've never heard how he is behind the scenes, where he's like swearing at everybody, just casually cursing. Like that's neat for me. And you get to see other people that I know that are involved in the team. And I also, the funny thing for me is, if you've watched the Formula One season, because it's about last season, you know how things shake out. You know who wins a championship. You know who wins the races. You know that Daniel Ricciardo left Red Bull to go to Renault, and that was like one episode. Like, is he going to stay or is he going to go? I already know he goes. So it takes some of that away.
For sure.
For me.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it might be more fun for you.
Yeah.
But I still get a lot out of it because I get to see how they react, how he talks to his team. There's a scene where he's in a van traveling to the racetrack, and he's singing a song about his ball sack and scrotum being the same thing.
Oh, really?
I thought that was funny because you don't see that side. When they're getting interviewed on the grid, I was like, I trained really hard. I'm going to go for the best result today. I got a good car.
Sports interviews are
very
across
basic.
Any sport.
It's the same thing every time.
Oh, yeah, got to try hard. I want to win the race. Well, no shit.
Yeah, my whole team's behind me. Everybody's working hard. I think we got a good car. Let's see how it goes today. And this gives me a whole different aspect now. Whereas that to me is very sterile. Like a lot of times I'll fast forward through some of the pre-race stuff unless they're featuring really in-depth car talk or someone I haven't heard from in a while. Then I'll stop fast forwarding and I'll listen to that interview. But usually it's a lot of that same, hey, how's it looking today? Well, the track's dry. I qualified 5th. I'm going to try to stay out of the trouble through the first corner. Okay, of course. Fucking course you are.
The worst one's UFC fight interviews. I'm going to try to not get taken down. Try to punch him.
I'm going to try to hit him in the face more than he hits me in the face. But I love fights, though. There was actually a card this weekend that I was watching this morning.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty entertaining. I haven't finished it yet. So
okay. All right.
A couple fights in.